To prove that humans and zombies can coexist, I simply tied up a relatively clean female zombie. Because the disaster struck so suddenly, nearly 90% of humanity mutated into zombies. Yet I somehow accidentally activated a love conquest system that has absolutely nothing to do with the apocalypse. It was at that moment that an exceptionally beautiful female zombie appeared before my eyes without warning. This instantly made me realize the love system didn't specify the species, did it? Besides, if I let such a beautiful female zombie go, it would be a total waste. The moment the thought popped into my head, I immediately pulled a rope from my pocket, found the right opportunity, and swung it with force, accurately looping it around the female zombie. She let out a sharp howl on the spot, but the next second I stuffed a rag into her mouth. Smelling the scent of a fresh human within arm's length, the zombie went into a frenzy, her small head desperately trying to lunge at me, but I excitedly grabbed her hand. At that very instant, the system's notification exploded in my brain. Congratulations, host, for completing the hand-holding mission. Target: Shen Qingwu. Identity: female college student. Current status: zombie. Favorability: 0. Hand-holding reward: 100 kilograms of raw meat. First kiss reward: zombie virus vaccine. Full conquest reward: gene purification agent. Seeing these rich rewards, my breathing instantly became hurried. Just the starting 100 kilograms of meat alone was enough for me to live comfortably for 2.5 years. Let alone those 2 god-tier treasures later on. But the most thorny problem right now was how on earth to increase Shen Qingwu's favorability. After pondering for a moment, I reached out and pulled the rag from Shen Qingwu's mouth. She immediately hissed and roared at me frantically, her mouth full of sharp teeth snapping with a bone-chilling sound. Without a word, I pulled a piece of raw meat from the system space and stuffed it into her mouth. The hissing stopped instantly as she began to tear into the meat like crazy. Seeing this scene, I sighed helplessly. With that mouthful of sharp teeth, it looks like that first kiss reward is out of reach for now. Just then, the door next door suddenly opened and a man and a woman walked out. The woman spoke up immediately. "Hey, big brother. My husband and I haven't eaten for 2 days! You have so much food, you're even feeding it to a zombie. Can't you share a little with us?" They were a newlywed couple. The man was named Shen Liang and the woman was Lin Wanner. These two usually relied entirely on takeout, and there was no food stored in their house at all. In my past life, I believed their sweet talk and foolishly shared my food with them. I thought they would be grateful. But instead, they ransacked my room while I was out searching for supplies and locked the door from the outside, refusing to open it no matter how much I shouted. How could I ever give food to ungrateful wolves like them again? However, this Lin Wanner in front of me could be put to use. Just as the thought arose, the system interface floated before my eyes. Name: Lin Wanner. Identity: married housewife. Favorability: 0. Hand-holding. Reward: 100 kilograms of fresh fruits and vegetables. First kiss reward: 120 square meter fully furnished apartment. Full conquest reward: 1,000 square meter luxury villa. Seeing these rewards, the corners of my mouth couldn't help but twitch upward. This is 100 kilograms of fruits and vegetables. Although I don't lack food, balanced nutrition is the top priority in the apocalypse. Seeing me smile, the two of them thought I had agreed to their request. Shen Liang immediately opened his mouth wide. "First, give us 10 pounds of pork, and then 3 buckets of pure water." I was almost laughed to death by them. When did I ever agree to you? Even if I had so much food I couldn't finish it and gave it to a dog, I would never give any to you ungrateful wolves. Leaving those words behind, I pushed Shen Qingwu back into the room. Shen Liang stared at me with gritted teeth, wanting to make a move but wary of the zombie beside me. Back in the room, I tied Shen Qingwu up and opened the system panel. The results surprised me. Shen Qingwu's favorability had actually increased by 5 points. I instantly recalled the evolved zombies with intelligence from the later stages of the apocalypse in my past life. Could Shen Qingwu also evolve? And just for that little bit of meat, her favorability went up by 5 points? This is much easier than conquering a normal woman. Thinking of this, I pulled out a few more pieces of raw meat to feed her, successfully brushing her favorability up to 10 points. I wanted to keep feeding her in one go, but looking at her round little belly, I decided to stop. After stuffing the rag back into her mouth, I began planning my next move. 1 month after the zombie outbreak, terrible polar cold weather will descend. I only have about 20 days left to prepare. The first thing to solve is supplies. Eating and drinking are the primary elements of survival. Next is protection against the cold. Clothes and medicine are manageable. But as for the most crucial safe house, I don't have a clue. This safe house not only needs to be strong enough, but also able to maintain a stable temperature in extreme cold. Finding a pre-existing building that meets all conditions is harder than reaching the heavens. As far as I know, there is no such place in the entire Binhai city. But then I had a flash of inspiration and remembered Lin Wanner's first kiss reward. I quickly called out to the system in my mind. System, is the house you reward pre-existing, or does it appear out of thin air? The system responded, all rewarded houses are built out of thin air. The host can specify any construction location. What if I have special requirements for the house? For example, built with titanium alloy with secret exits, a warehouse, and medical and communication equipment? The system was silent for a few seconds. The host needs to provide architectural blueprints. Additionally, communication and medical equipment are not included and must be solved by the host. This made me overjoyed. So my titanium alloy safe house is possible. Just then, a knock suddenly sounded at the door. Lin Wanner was standing alone at the doorway. Seeing that no one came to open the door for a long time, she was anxious. Who knew if a zombie would suddenly leap out from either end of the dark corridor? Just as she was about to give up, the door finally opened. A look of joy just appeared on Lin Wanner's face when she saw the kitchen knife in my hand. Her heart tightened, and she quickly explained, don't misunderstand. I don't have any weapons on me. I narrowed my eyes and sized her up. Lin Wanner also realized I was scrutinizing her. If it were before, she probably would have slapped me already. But now that she was asking for a favor, she could only force a smile. I want to borrow some food from you. I glanced at her with disdain. Not lending! People won't let you lose out. As long as you lend me some food, but I didn't fall for that at all. Do what? If you don't say it, I'm closing the door. Hearing this, Lin Wanner didn't budge. What? Aren't you afraid a zombie will suddenly jump out? As soon as I finished speaking, a zombie's roar came from a distance. Lin Wanner's pretty face instantly turned pale. She had no choice but to enter the room. At the moment I closed the door, I happened to lock eyes with Shen Liang from the unit diagonally across. He was actually discovered by me and immediately retracted his head. I let out a light laugh and closed the door. Truly a natural-born cuckold, his head-shrinking skills are top tier. Inside the room, Shen Qingwu became manic upon seeing Lin Wanner. Scared, Lin Wanner instinctively backed away and screamed to keep her distance. How can you keep a zombie at home? Aren't you afraid? My expression was calm. What's there to be afraid of? It's just a zombie. These words made her involuntarily compare me to Shen Liang, thinking that if her husband had even half my courage, she wouldn't have to run here to take this abuse. Thinking of this, Lin Wanner sighed. Tell me, what exactly do you want me to do before you'll give me the food? A few minutes later, she returned to the living room and shouted at me in a terrible tone. I've done everything you wanted. Where's the food? I slowly opened the refrigerator, intentionally letting her see it was stuffed with fresh meat. At that moment, a thought flashed through Lin Wanner's mind. Should she just knock me out? But rationality ultimately won. Actually, I had been wary of her actions the whole time. Lin Wanner's failure to act actually made me feel a bit of regret. I was almost able to use justifiable defense. I took out about a pound of pork and tossed it in front of her. She stared at the meat on the floor with an ugly expression. You're only giving me this much? It's already a lot. I originally only planned to give you half a pound. How could Lin Wanner know how precious this pound of meat is in the apocalypse? She only remembered that when Shen Liang married her, the dowry was 380,000. and her name was on the house deed. Lin Wenner took a deep breath and finally bent down to pick up the pork from the floor, walking out with a cold face. Seeing her like this, I wasn't angry, but amused. The more miserable she was, the stronger my pleasure from revenge. Next, I happily pulled up the system panel. The house and the fruits/vegetables were both in a waiting to be claimed status. Although a 100 square meter house is a bit small, I have a way to fix that. As long as I find another woman with a similar status to Lin Wenner, I can expand on the basis of the 100 square meters. Now the only trouble is the design blueprints for the safe house. Fortunately, there might be survivors from the architecture department at Binhai University. It seems I must go out. Early the next morning, I began looting supplies. My first target was the unit across the hall, 504. I pulled out a wire and poked it into the keyhole, finishing it easily in seconds. Just as I entered the room, I heard a chewing sound coming from the bedroom. I tiptoed and pushed open the bedroom door, only to see a white-haired old man devouring a corpse on the bed. How creepy, I muttered under my breath, grabbing the kitchen knife and swinging it at the zombie. To my surprise, that strike didn't cause much damage. Instead, it completely enraged him. He turned around and lunged at me with claws bared. I kicked him in the chest, sending him flying, then rushed up and added a few more blows until he completely stopped moving. When I came to my senses, I found that the kitchen knife already had 2 nicks. After all, it's just a kitchen knife. Cutting meat is fine, but cutting zombie bones is a bit overwhelming. It seems it's time to find a more suitable weapon. Near noon, I finally raided all 6 rooms on the 5th floor, dealing with 3 zombies in total and finding a crate of malt juice, some messy pills, and a tub of protein powder. Although it was a rich harvest, this sharp kitchen knife was completely ruined. Luckily, I found a baseball bat, and after a couple of swings, it felt quite handy. On the other side, Lin Wenner and Shen Liang witnessed the whole process of me killing zombies through the peephole. My crazed look made them gulp, secretly glad they hadn't sought death earlier, or they would have been long dead. It wasn't until they heard the door close next door that the 2 dared to open their door. They searched each room carefully, hoping to find food I had missed. Unfortunately, I had searched too cleanly. The 2 couldn't find a single scrap. Damn it! Is that bastard the reincarnation of a locust, not leaving a single thing to eat? I think I found a steak, but it's all furry. Shen Liang's eyes darted around. Wife? How about you go ask him for some more food? Lin Wenner was full of reluctance. We just ate yesterday. We're not hungry yet. How about we don't go for now? We're not hungry now, but we will be eventually. Do you have to wait until he's fed all the food to a zombie before you're willing to go? Seeing her hesitate, Shen Liang immediately grabbed her hand with deep sincerity. Wife, I want to live on with you. We will definitely wait for the rescue team. Looking at her husband's pleading eyes, Lin Wenner bit her lip. Fine, I'll go. As soon as Lin Wenner entered the door, she smelled an inviting aroma. At that moment, I walked into the kitchen and soon came out with an electric rice cooker containing a full pot of stewed potatoes. I opened another bottle of malt juice and sat comfortably on the sofa to eat. Lin Wenner's mouth watered at the smell. Seeing me silent, she could only stand there awkwardly. I took 2 bites before acting as if I suddenly remembered her. Almost forgot about you. Saying this, I got up and took a plate to put some meat in. Lin Wenner thought it was for her, and just as she was happily about to reach for it, I walked straight past her to the sofa. After pulling the rag from Shen Chengwu's mouth, she immediately buried her head in the plate and devoured it. Lin Wenner's face was full of embarrassment. She coughed dryly and changed the subject. You cleared the 5th floor today? Yeah, I'm planning to leave. I'll collect more supplies before I go. Hearing this, Lin Wenner's eyes widened instantly. What, you're leaving? There are zombies everywhere outside. Where can you go? I smiled and didn't answer. What? Can't bear to let me go? Hearing this, Lin Wenner was full of anger. Only a ghost wouldn't want you to go. I'd rather you die outside. But despite saying that, there was a hint of worry in her eyes. If I took all the food and left, wouldn't she and Shen Liang starve to death? Tell me, what exactly did you come to find me for? I want to trade with you for food. I couldn't help but chuckle. I had expected Lin Wanner would come again, but I didn't expect her to be so thick-skinned. 4 days passed in the blink of an eye, and I had turned the entire building upside down. During these days, Shen Qingwu's appetite became more and more terrifying, going from half a pound of meat at the start to 2.5 pounds, now not even being enough to fill the gaps between her teeth. Yet her belly showed no sign of bloating. If her favorability hadn't been rising, I really wouldn't want to feed her anymore. Regardless of whether she understood, I started threatening her to myself. I've fed you for 6 days. If you still dare to harbor bad thoughts and bite me, I'll leave you here to fend for yourself. After speaking, I took the rag out of her mouth. She didn't hiss like at the beginning, but instead opened her mouth, waiting for me to feed her. If you dare bite me, I won't give you food. Understand? Since you're not making a sound, I'll take it as your default agreement. I tentatively reached my hand toward Shen Qingwu, but she unceremoniously opened her mouth to bite me. I immediately shouted, "No!" She was stunned by my shout and then tilted her head to look at me. I carefully reached out again, but Shen Qingwu still tried to bite. This back-and-forth tug-of-war happened over a dozen times. Just as I was about to give up, she finally didn't bite, but instead stared fixedly at my face, seemingly trying to judge through my expression whether this thing was edible. A burst of wild joy hit my heart, and I gently shook my head at her. Shen Qingwu seemed to understand my meaning and actually didn't bite again. Excited, I pulled out another piece of meat and handed it over, nodding at her. This time, she just started eating. After trying a few more times, she would only eat after I nodded. To verify if she could only restrain her aggression while tied up, I decided to do another experiment. I first untied the rope on her, then placed a plate of meat on the coffee table. Shen Qingwu stood up shakily and walked toward me. She first looked at the meat on the table, then squinted at me. Next, she raised her hand and pointed at the meat in the plate. I was overjoyed and nodded at her. Only then did Shen Qingwu pick up the plate and eat in large gulps. I have to say, her eating manner is still quite ugly. However, the good thing is that with Shen Qingwu's favorability at only 40, she can already manage not to attack me. Then if the favorability reaches 100, wouldn't I have an obedient zombie lackey? What kind of love system is this? It's clearly a master-servant cultivation system. Meanwhile, on the other side, Shen Liang had been sitting on pins and needles these past few days. He already knew the news that I was about to leave, whether for food or revenge. He didn't want me to leave alive, but relying on himself was definitely hopeless. After all, I was a tough character who could easily solo zombies. So, Shen Liang started targeting his wife again. "Wife, we absolutely cannot let that kid next door leave. At least, we can't let him leave with the food. Why don't you borrow food one more time? Wait for him to fall asleep and open the door to let me in. The two of us will take the chance to kill him." Out of guilt, Lin Wanner agreed to almost all his requests and finally nodded. Shen Liang was instantly excited. "Great! As soon as it gets dark, we move. I'll go prepare." Watching Shen Liang's departing back, Lin Wanner gave a bitter smile. He didn't even ask for a specific plan. It seems he knew exactly what was happening. On the other side, because I planned to leave first thing tomorrow, I prepared to sleep early. But as soon as I lay down, I heard a knock. I opened the door with a smile. "Hungry again so soon?" Lin Wanner cursed in her heart, wishing she could punch me in the face, but she held back and even squeezed out a seductive expression. "Not just hungry. Come in." I stepped aside. As Lin Wanner walked past me, I raised my hand and gave a smack. That jelly-like sensation made me praise her sincerely. Lin Wanner clutched her backside and glared at me angrily. "You must give me an extra biscuit." Her look of being afraid to speak her anger made me laugh toward the sky. Does it feel this good not to be a good person? I don't sympathize with her at all. How did they treat me in my past life? This is retribution. Lin Wanner lowered her head, fire flickering in her eyes. "After tonight, let's see if you can still laugh." A few hours later, Lin Wanner came out shakily, supporting herself against the wall. It was only a dozen steps from the bedroom to the door, yet she took several minutes. Just as she opened the room door, Shen Liang slipped inside. "How is it? Is he asleep?" "Asleep! Great! I'm gonna finish him off now." After saying that, Hen Liang gripped the fruit knife in his hand. But after walking a few steps, he saw a figure standing at the bedroom door. This scared the living daylights out of Shen Liang. Didn't you say he was asleep? Lin Wanner was also startled but immediately realized something was wrong. This is that zombie the bastard keeps. How did she break the rope? Husband, what do we do? Should we retreat first? Shen Liang's heart was in a tug of war. Although he was afraid of zombies, he knew even better that if they missed tonight, they would never have another chance. Moreover, Shen Qingwu looked dazed and silly, which gave Shen Liang the illusion that, if he can do it, I can too. However, for safety's sake, he still spoke to Lin Wanner. Wife, you go distract her and I'll finish her from behind. Lin Wanner trembled with fear upon hearing this. Don't worry, I won't let her hurt you, Shen Liang guaranteed with his mouth, but in his heart, he was already prepared to sell out his wife at any moment. But how could Lin Wanner agree? She didn't love Shen Liang enough to die for him. At that moment, my impatient voice came from the bedroom door. I say, how long are you two going to discuss this? Hearing my voice, Shen Liang and Lin Wanner's hearts almost jumped out of their throats. You didn't fall asleep. You're making such a racket. Even if I were asleep, I'd be woken up. Looking at the nonchalant smile on my face, Lin Wanner's face turned deathly pale. Husband, let the zombie stall him. Let's run. You mean her? Under their unbelievable gaze, I raised my hand and rubbed Shen Qingwu's head. Instead of attacking me, she was actually well-behaved and let me stroke her. This scene directly made the two of them pee their pants. How is this possible? It's one thing that she doesn't look like a zombie, but how are even her habits completely different from other zombies? Shen Liang suddenly pushed Lin Wanner toward me while he turned and ran toward the door. But after 2 steps, I caught up and flattened him with one swing of the bat. Wait, I have something to say. Please don't kill me. But I couldn't be bothered to waste words with him and finished him off cleanly. Watching this scene, Lin Wanner almost lost her soul. This was all Shen Liang's idea. He wanted to hurt you. It has nothing to do with me. Please forgive me. I swear from now on I'll serve you like a master. Lin Wanner still held a glimmer of hope in her heart, thinking I'd be reluctant to kill her. To her surprise, I spoke coldly. You're not sorry, you just know you're about to die. At that moment, Shen Qingwu leaned over and pointed at the 2 corpses on the floor. I shook my head. No! These are spoiled. Early the next morning, I took Shen Qingwu and left the apartment on a motorcycle. It's worth mentioning that along the way, the roaring engine attracted countless zombies. But those slow-moving fellows couldn't catch up at all and could only watch as I zoomed away. When I reached Binhai University to shake off the army of zombies behind me, I was about to find any building to hide in when I suddenly heard someone shout, "Over here!" I hesitated for a moment, then ditched the motorcycle and ran toward them. The person who shouted saw me coming and quickly cleared the window. I braced the window frame with one hand and vaulted inside with a cool hurdle. But Shen Qingwu's body was stiff, and she didn't know how to vault windows, so she could only stand outside the window dazed. A few warm-hearted male students wanted to help, but I pushed them aside. No need, I can do it! After speaking, I leaned my upper body out, grabbed Shen Qingwu under the armpits, and hauled her in without much effort. A guy who looked like a rich second generation spoke up. You must be the person my dad sent to save us, right? This guy was named Ji Chengyu, and using his status as the mayor's son, he fooled others by saying his dad would send people to save them. He had thus become the leader of this group of survivors. I didn't acknowledge his outstretched hand. Who the hell are you? Do I know you? Ji Chengyu's face instantly turned ugly. He said that just to show off, and I didn't give him any face at all. To reclaim his dignity, he began to put on leadership airs. In other words, you're a survivor just like us? Since that's the case, you have to follow our rules. A lackey behind him saw this and immediately stepped up to grab my backpack. I slapped his hand away and took a step back. What do you want? Ji Chengyu put on a righteous look. In order for everyone to survive, please hand over your supplies to be distributed uniformly by us. I snorted. Whether you guys live or die, does it have half a cent to do with me? Hearing this, Jiyu Chengyu deliberately raised his volume so everyone could hear. If everyone were as selfish as you, we would have starved to death long ago. We are doing this to maximize the rational use of supplies. I really couldn't listen anymore and interrupted him directly. Your life or death has nothing to do with me, and I don't plan to group up with you, so I will never hand over the supplies. Jiyu Chengyu gave a cold smile and pointed out the window. Then I'm sorry. Please leave immediately. And outside the window at that moment, the zombies I had previously attracted were crowding against the window, drooling. Of course, I wouldn't leave now. Besides, my purpose for coming here hasn't been achieved yet. There are so many classrooms here. I'll naturally leave after staying for a few days. Regarding me as an outsider, the students were more willing to listen to Jiyu Chengyu. Thus, they surrounded me with righteous indignation. By what right do you speak to young Master Jiyu like that? If we hadn't saved you just now, you'd be dead. Exactly. This is a school. By what right do you, an outsider, stay in our classroom? I couldn't help but let out a chuckle. You're talking logic to me in the apocalypse? Besides, even if I insist on staying by force, so what? Do you hothouse flowers who haven't seen blood dare to raise a hand against me? Who crawled out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood? Just as both sides were at daggers drawn, a beautiful woman in a long skirt with a fresh temperament walked in. What happened here? Lu He? This guy wants to sponge off us, and we're about to kick him out. Lu. He frowned slightly. If he wants to stay, let him stay. We have so many empty classrooms here. Why drive people away? Aren't you just sending him to his death? Everyone, disperse. The students looked toward Jiyu Chengyu with hesitation until he nodded. Only then did the crowd scatter. At this moment, Lu He's gaze passed over me and landed on Xin Qingwu. Is this your sister? She's very beautiful. I suppose so. Hello, little sister. What is your name? And why are your eyes so red? Her enthusiasm received no response. I quickly stepped forward to explain she's wearing colored contact lenses. My sister is a bit introverted and doesn't like to talk. Please don't mind. The other party easily believed my nonsense. After all, where would you find a zombie these days that didn't take the initiative to bite people? Then you guys stay here for now. Floors 1 to 3 are safe. You can choose any empty classroom. But remember that the 4th floor and above are very dangerous. Noon arrived quickly. In front of a classroom door labeled Warehouse, a dozen students were lining up, waiting to receive today's rations, but most only received a few biscuits. Jiyu Chengyu was hiding inside the warehouse, stealthily eating a chicken leg he had obtained through deception. But just then, a rich aroma of meat drifted over. The dozen or so people stopped lining up, and all looked toward the source of the scent. Smelling this fragrance, one by one they rushed downstairs. At this moment, in a classroom on the 2nd floor, I was starting a fire and cooking. Those people's eyes turned red with envy. Jiyu Chengyu even walked straight in. Friend, can we use our food to exchange for some of yours? I didn't even pay him any mind. With those moldy scraps of yours, not only do they taste bad, but they won't even fill a stomach. Jiyu Chengyu wanted to say more, but I couldn't be bothered to deal with him. I walked out carrying a bowl of meat. Want to eat? The crowd nodded repeatedly. I finally cleared my throat. Are any of you architecture students? As soon as I said this, the scene fell into dead silence. After a long while, someone spoke up weakly. The architecture students are in another building. They've probably all turned into zombies by now. Hearing this, I was greatly disappointed. This trip was mainly to find someone who could design blueprints for a safe house. It seemed like a wasted trip, but just then, a tiny voice came from the crowd. I am an architecture major? Everyone looked toward the source. The person speaking was a girl with pigtails and black-rimmed glasses who looked timid. Being stared at by so many people, the girl was clearly a bit nervous. I sized her up suspiciously. This cowering appearance made it hard not to suspect she was here to scam food and drink. Seeming to see the contempt in my eyes, the braided girl plucked up her courage. My name is Ruan Yuan Yuan. I'm the top student in our major. If you don't believe me, you can ask the other students. I believe you. But can you draw blueprints? She snapped her head up, looking at me with a face full of surprise. I certainly wasn't believing her for no reason, but because of the system panel before my eyes. Name: Ruan Yuan Yuan. Identity: architecture student. Favorability: 0. Hand-holding reward: solar power equipment or sewage purification device. Choose one. First kiss reward: 1 set of surveillance systems. Full conquest reward: 4 automatic turrets plus 100 rounds of specialized ammunition. Good heavens, these rewards are getting better and better. If I can get them all, the upgrade to the safe house will be earth-shaking. Hearing my question, Ruan Yuan Yuan nodded like a chick pecking grain. I can. Then can you draw some relatively special architectural design plans? In Ruan Yuan Yuan's small head, a big question mark immediately popped up. However, for the sake of food, she still agreed. Okay, I've hired you. The pay is 1 bowl of meat and 1 bowl of vegetables every day. Ruan Yuan Yuan originally thought just having some meat would be good, but she didn't expect there to be vegetables as well, and immediately accepted the job happily. Some are happy, some are worried. Ji-Yu Chengyu gave me a fierce glare and left dejectedly with his underlings. Reaching the stairwell, an underling named Lu Yi glanced left and right, and only after ensuring no one followed did he speak. Young Master Ji-Yu, that kid is too arrogant. Why don't we just kill him? Ji-Yu Chengyu pondered for a moment. No, you saw his skills against the zombies during the day. We are simply not his match. At this moment, Ji-Yu Chengyu wanted to deal with me more than anyone, but unfortunately, his strength didn't allow it. The underling Lu Ye wanted to say more, but Ji-Yu Chengyu had already walked away with a wave of his hand. Lu Yi looked at his back and snorted coldly. You have meat and fish for yourself, so of course you don't care about his food, but I'm still hungry. No, I must find a way to get his supplies. On the other side, Ruan Yuan Yuan finished her meal and licked the corner of her mouth with lingering desire. Seeing this, I asked if she wanted more. Ruan Yuan Yuan shook her head. No need. I've already eaten today's reward. What if I overdraw for tomorrow? I'll have to go hungry tomorrow. These words stunned me for a moment. Then let's get to work. Ruan Yuan Yuan agreed and immediately entered a working state. She opened her backpack and took out a laptop. Tell me your requirements. I want a blueprint for a safe house covering 100 square meters. The strength must be high and there must be a warehouse, escape passage, rest area, and bathroom. If it's 100 square meters, it's still too small for a safe house, because you also have to leave room for a planting area and a breeding area, right? I gave her a slightly surprised look. This girl was more thoughtful than I was. That's right, so you also have to leave space for expansion. I understand. I'll start work now. Hearing this, I excitedly asked her how long it would take to draw. It will probably take several days, and if follow-up modifications are needed, it'll take another 2 or 3 days. I immediately frowned. According to the memories of my past life, a cold wave would hit in over a week. If we didn't move into the safe house before then, we would freeze to death in this leaky teaching building. I need you to draw the plans within 7 days. Do you have confidence? Ruan Yuan Yuan was hesitant at first, but soon her gaze became firm. Quote, no problem, 7 days it is. I took Shen Qingwu to the rooftop to find a suitable place to build the safe house. Soon, I discovered a piece of empty ground on the back hill of the school, blocked by teaching buildings in front and leaning against a large mountain in the back. It would be very hard to find if one didn't enter the school. Furthermore, the number of zombies here wasn't high. I picked up a baseball bat, prepared to clear the area. Climbing out of a window on the first floor, I scanned the surroundings. There were 4 zombies wandering nearby. Even though I cautiously knocked one to death, it still alerted the other 3. The one charging at the front was a guy wearing a t-shirt, looking like an athlete before he died. Unlike those slow zombies, this athlete zombie ran very fast. He rushed in front of me in the blink of an eye. Unhurriedly, I dodged to the side and swung a blow down. As expected of an athlete, this zombie could still move after taking a hit. I immediately followed up with another blow. By this time, the 3rd zombie had pounced close. I used a leg sweep to bring it down, then followed with 2 more blows to finish it off. This was the last zombie, which also pounced, Before I could climb up, I was pounced to the ground. That zombie opened its bloody maw and bit down on my baseball bat, chewing hard up and down. I cursed inwardly, wanting to throw the zombie off me, but I failed after several tries. Just as I was gathering my strength to try again, a slender little hand suddenly grabbed the zombie's neck and threw it flying away. I turned my head in surprise and found the owner of that little hand was actually Shen Qingwu. At this time, the zombie that had been thrown away came charging back with a roar. Before I could get up, Shen Qingwu instantly grabbed the zombie's neck and twisted with force. Hearing a crack, the zombie's head tilted, and it fell to the ground. Holy crap, I didn't expect the seemingly weak and delicate Shen Qingwu to have such great strength. It seems I guessed right, she has indeed evolved. When I watched Shen Qingwu's skin slowly turn from gray-white to pink and tender, I had a suspicion. Now it has finally been confirmed. I opened the system panel and looked, finding that Shen Qingwu's favorability had risen to 50. This is much easier to coax than a woman. No need for brand name bags or cosmetics. Just give some food and she can even protect me. Shen Qingwu, being stared at by me, had no ripples on her face, as if the person who just acted wasn't her. After resting for a while, I continued to clear zombies. Shen Qingwu would only act when I encountered a life-threatening danger. At other times, she just watched the show silently from the side. It seems that if I want to command her to work, I need to continue increasing favorability. I kept busy until the sky turned late, before I set off to return to the teaching building. Arriving at the men's restroom, I was just about to take off my clothes to wash off the blood, but found that Shen Qingwu had followed me in. Taking a bath in front of a woman, this really was a first. Although it felt a bit unnatural, thinking about it, she was ultimately just a zombie. Soon, after finishing my bath, I was about to put on clean clothes when I suddenly looked at Shen Qingwu. Although I didn't know if zombies sweated, the recent battle had left her covered in blood, so I decided to help her wash as well. At this moment, Shen Qingwu's gaze was fixed straight on me. Although I knew she had no concept of male and female in her head, my face still turned red unhelpfully. I gritted my teeth and quickly unbuttoned her clothes. That skin, as white as jade, almost blinded my dog eyes. Just looking at it made my blood surge a bit. I quickly reminded myself in my heart that she was a zombie, and only then did I calm down slightly, hurriedly and quickly helping her clean up. A minute later, after finishing the washing, I looked up and met Shen Qingwu's eyes. Okay, you should feel a bit more comfortable now, right? But she just stared straight into my eyes. Different from before, there seemed to be emotional fluctuations in Shen Qingwu's eyes. I didn't know if it was my illusion, so I curiously moved closer to take a better look. In the next second, Shen Qingwu's body suddenly leaned over. I completely didn't expect her to ambush me and had no time to dodge at all, but the expected frantic biting didn't happen. A soft touch with a bit of sweetness came from my lips. My eyes were full of error until the system's prompt sounded, bringing me back to my senses. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the first KISS reward, Zombie Virus Vaccine. After use, you can be immune to zombie virus infection. Looking again at Shen Qingwu's favorability on the system panel, I was shocked once more. I didn't expect that just a simple bath would make favorability soar to 60, directly reaching the lake stage. I closed the system panel and asked Shen Qingwu, "Do you have feelings now?" Shen Qingwu tilted her head, looking a bit cute, clearly unable to understand such a complex word. So I changed to a simpler question. "Can you understand what I'm saying?" This time she nodded. I tried asking a few more questions, but as soon as they became slightly complex, Shen Qingwu would fall into a stupor. Looking at it this way, wanting Shen Qingwu to act independently is still unrealistic, but as favorability increases, maybe she really can recover human emotions. By then, she will surely be able to understand more complex instructions. However, for now, let's get out of this restroom first. Returning to the classroom, I inquired with Ruan Yuan and learned that a mini fire station was right next to the main entrance of the administration building. But to get there, one must bypass that group of zombies on the playground. I silently noted this information and then told Ruan Yuan to go back and rest. Soon, Only Shen Qingwu and I were left in the classroom. I took out the zombie virus vaccine and injected it directly into my arm, pushing the entire tube of medicine in. Now the threat of zombies to me is even smaller. At this time on the 3rd floor of the teaching building, 2 people were walking toward the stairs sneakily. One person looked worried. "Will doing this really be okay?" The other person spoke disdainfully. "What could happen? No matter how well he can fight, there are only 2 of them, and one is just a little girl." "Tiju, you're not even afraid of a girl, are you?" This person was none other than Lu Yi. Soon, the 2 of them felt their way to the classroom where I was, finding both the front and back doors locked from the inside. But this couldn't stop Lu Yi, who was experienced in skipping class. He fiddled with the window and pushed it open, then flipped inside. Tiju wasn't as nimble as Lu Yi, with one leg over the window. Just as he was about to bring the other leg over, he noticed that short figure in the classroom climbed straight up, scaring him so much he stuttered nervously. "Lu Yi, there's someone!" Lu Yi became alert instantly, but it was too late. He only felt a chill in his chest as a slender arm had already pierced through. Tiju was scared out of his wits on the spot and turned to run, but was also pierced through the chest by a hand. Shen Qingwu looked at the blood on her hands, and a sense of hunger suddenly welled up in her brain. That impulse drove her to want to lick the blood, but in the end, she controlled herself. The next day when I woke up, I saw Shen Qingwu excitedly showing me the blood on her hands. My gaze narrowed. What happened? Shen Qingwu looked toward the window again. Following her gaze, I saw one person collapsed on the ground and another leaning against the window with a large hole in his chest. A pair of nunchucks was hanging next to the body. Seeing this, I understood instantly. But Shen Qingwu was shaking my hand back and forth at this time. I immediately understood her meaning, so I took her to the restroom, washed the blood off her hands, and returned to the classroom. Just after I threw the 2 bodies out the window, Ruan Yuanyuman came over holding her laptop. She nodded to me and walked to the table to start working. After a while longer, Jiyu Chengyu's disgusting face appeared at the classroom door. "Where's Lu Ye? What did you do to him?" I looked at him with a calm face. "Who is Lu Ye? Stop playing dumb with me, he's the guy with green hair." I then realized that one of the 2 guys last night was called Lu Ye. However, I still acted as if I knew nothing. "I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't know any Lu Ye. Do you think I'll believe you? He didn't go missing earlier or later, but coincidentally went missing right when you arrived. If it wasn't you, who else could it be?" "What are you barking about here? If someone is missing, go find them yourself, don't shout around me." The sound of our arguing attracted many students to watch, including Lu He. He asked in confusion, "What's wrong? What happened?" Jiyu Chengyu's tone only then softened a bit. "Lu Ye and Tieju are gone," Lu He thought for a bit. "Could they have gone out to find supplies?" "Impossible, without my order. They wouldn't leave without permission." I took the opportunity to interject. "Are you so sure they would listen to you? Maybe they've been unhappy with you for a long time and ran away while you were asleep." Jiyu Chengyu's eyes were red with rage, wishing he could act on the spot, but unfortunately he couldn't beat me. Lu, he wanted to ease this tense atmosphere. Maybe the 2 of them really had something to do, and went out, they'll come back later. Just wait patiently. I'll believe Lu He this once. If they aren't back before dark, I will definitely demand an explanation from you. Leaving this harsh word, Jiyu Chengyu left with a cold face. Passing by the warehouse, the bespectacled man guarding it reported to him. "Young Master Jiyu, the food in the warehouse is almost gone." "Then send people to find some." "Okay, I'll arrange it now." The bespectacled man was about to leave but was called back by Jiyu Chengyu. "Wait, I'll give you a new list, arrange it according to that." And the names written on that list were all people who didn't quite follow his orders. Such people staying in the camp were troublemakers, so he might as well send them out to find supplies. If they died outside, it would even save some rations, truly killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Thinking of this, the corner of Jiyu Chengyu's mouth gradually split into a pleased arc. At this rate, in a few days, only those who were obedient to him would remain. Then he could properly teach that guy who made him lose face a lesson. Suddenly, A soft and seductive voice came from not far away. "Young Master Ji, so you're here. You were so hard to find." Ji Chengyu looked up and saw Jiang Weiwei, dressed flashily, walking toward him. "Why are you here? Where's Lu He? Why isn't he with you?" "A classmate has a fever. He's helping to take care of them." Hearing this, a lewd smile appeared on Ji Chengyu's face. Since Lu He couldn't get away for now, wasn't this a perfect chance to vent some fire? Thinking this way, Ji Chengyu's gaze toward Jiang Weiwei became twisted. "Do you have something to see me about?" Jiang Weiwei bit her lip. "Can't I see you if there's nothing?" "Of course you can. I missed you too." A hint of shyness flashed in Jiang Weiwei's eyes. "Oh, you're so annoying, you're making me embarrassed." Seeing this appearance, Ji Chengyu only felt a heat in his lower abdomen as a surge of evil fire rushed up. He impatiently wanted to put his arm around Jiang Weiwei's waist but was dodged by her. "Young Master Ji, aren't you afraid of being seen by others?" "I'll be shy." Ji Chengyu laughed loudly upon hearing this. "How about this? I happen to be going to the warehouse to check supplies. Why don't you come with me?" Jiang Weiwei nodded repeatedly. Okay. The two of them entered the warehouse one after the other. Ji Chengyu, following behind, conveniently locked the door and impatiently wanted to kiss Jiang Weiwei, but was again dodged by her with a flash. Ji Chengyu was scratching his head in anxiety. Quote, "What's wrong now?" Jiang Weiwei first scanned the supplies in the warehouse, then spoke nonchalantly. "Young Master Ji, the food doesn't look like much is left?" Ji Chengyu answered perfunctorily. "Enough to last until my father's people arrive." He said this while starting to take off his clothes. "Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up, it'll be bad if we're discovered later." Jiang Weiwei chuckled. "Young Master Ji, can your father really spare a hand to save you?" Ji Chengyu was suddenly stunned. "What do you mean?" But Jiang Weiwei changed the subject. "Oh, my mouth, I was just guessing randomly. Don't be so nervous. By the way, I suddenly remembered Lu. He called me to help. Bye-bye, young Master Ji." Jiang Weiwei finished speaking and walked out, leaving Ji Chengyu alone in an awkward spot, looking like a clown. On the other side, I was clearing zombies when I suddenly heard a cry for help from a distance. I carried the baseball bat and looked over there, seeing a woman by the window of a building shouting at me. It made me unable to resist complaining. Is this woman seeking death? Shouting for help in the apocalypse is an extremely dangerous behavior. I knew she wanted to catch my attention, but I had no intention of saving her at all. However, this woman's shouting coincidentally helped me out. The zombies on the open ground heard the movement, and all moved slowly toward the direction of the sound. I said to Shen Qingwu, "Let's go. We can get off work early today." But this made the woman in the building anxious. Where are they going? Didn't they hear my cry for help? Seeing more and more zombies surrounding her, she had no choice but to shut her mouth and cry softly. Returning to the classroom, I asked Ruan Yuan, "Did you hear a woman shouting just now?" Ruan Yuan nodded. "I heard it. It seems to be Teacher Wen." "Teacher Wen? You know her? She's our school doctor." I pondered slightly. "You want me to save her?" My question made Ruan Yuan's hand, holding the mouse, pause for a moment. "I just feel she might be useful to you. By the way, that building is the administration building." "I see." After speaking, I took Shen Qingwu to take a bath. 2 more days passed, and the number of student survivors decreased again. When I first arrived, there were about 50 surviving students, and now there were probably only around 30. At the same time, an atmosphere of panic began to spread. This day, I pointed at Shen Qingwu and said to Ruan Yuan, "Keep an eye on her for me. I'm going to the administration building. It's inconvenient to bring her." And the reason why I delayed for 2 days before saving the person was to make that woman named Wen Ning completely desperate. Only then would she be grateful to me when I saved her. Half an hour later, I reached my destination, but there were over a dozen zombies wandering here. It would be impossible to kill them all by ambush. I must finish quickly. I took a deep breath and suddenly rushed toward the mini fire station. The zombies immediately noticed and roared as they closed in on me. Seeing this, I ran forward with all my might, and managed to rush into the mini fire station before the zombies surrounded me. 2 walkie-talkies, 1 fire axe, 1 escape rope. I packed them all and took them away. While I was focused on scavenging supplies, I didn't expect the zombie to already be only 3 meters away from me. Fortunately, I was fast enough and managed to slip into the restroom on the 3rd floor of the administration building. Wen Ning's consciousness was already somewhat blurred in her daze. She vaguely heard a loud bang of a door being smashed open, followed by a boy's voice. Is she dead? What a pity I'm late. Wen Ning suddenly opened her eyes and shouted with all her strength, I'm still alive, please save me. I threw her a baseball bat. Can you still move? If you want to live, hold your weapon. Wen Ning bit her lip and stood up, leaning against the wall. I can. I led Wen Ning out of the room and saw a zombie wandering up. I stepped forward a few paces and swung the axe into the zombie's head. With just 1 blow, that zombie stopped moving. Seeing this, I couldn't help but sigh. This axe is indeed useful. Wen Ning, following behind, was directly stunned. This person kills zombies so easily and leisurely? It wasn't until I reached the stairwell that she regained her senses and hurriedly followed. There were many zombies on the stairs, all following me in. Just now the terrain outside was too open. Once surrounded, one would face attacks from all directions at once. But now there's only 1 staircase, only 1 zombie can hit me at a time, so I naturally have full confidence. Plus, having the high ground, I could easily hack at the zombies' heads and necks. In just a few minutes, the zombies' corpses covered a layer on the stairs. Wen Ning couldn't help but be dazed again, and my image became even taller and more sacred in her heart. But just then, her ankle was suddenly grabbed. By her feet was a female zombie with half its face bitten off. Instantly, Wen Ning was too scared to move, her whole body shaking like a sieve, and her small eyes were tearful. I just stood aside indifferently. If you don't hit it with the baseball bat, are you waiting for the new year? My words made Wen Ning's face turn red unintentionally. She raised the baseball bat over her head, closed her eyes, and swung down with force. I watched all this coldly. This fish that slipped through the net was something I left on purpose. I wanted to use this most cruel and direct way to make Wen Ning grow up quickly. I nodded. Well done. After receiving my affirmation, Wen Ning only felt an unprecedented joy. Before long, Ruan Yuan Yuan stood by the window and shouted excitedly, You're back! Shen Qingwu stood next to her, her expressionless face showing no emotion, but her gaze kept following us in the distance. There were many students around who were attracted, including Jiang Weiwei. She was staring outside with shining eyes at this moment. When I brought Wen Ning to the window, Ruan Yuan Yuan wanted to open it, but Jiang Weiwei was 1 step faster, pushing open the window and reaching out to me, but I directly ignored her and jumped in through the window. Instead, Wen Ning grabbed Jiang Weiwei's hand and climbed in with difficulty. After Wen Ning stood firm, she said, Thank you. Jiang Weiwei's smile was a bit stiff. You're welcome, Teacher Lin. Welcome to join us. Other students immediately stepped forward to surround Wen Ning, shouting in a cacophony. It could be seen that Wen Ning was quite popular among the students. I ignored this noisy group and took Shen Qingwu toward the upper floor. Wait for me! Seeing me leave, Wen Ning directly left the group of students and followed up at a trot. The students looked at each other, not understanding why Teacher Lin left them, and ran. At this time on the 2nd floor, 4 women appeared at my classroom door at the same time. Ruan Yuan Yuan pushed her glasses and sized up the other 3 people. Among the 4, only she appeared here with the most legitimate reason. The other 3 didn't know why they were here. I was also stunned for a moment seeing the 4 women at the door, but soon returned to normal. I lifted the pot lid and a rich aroma instantly filled the entire classroom. The 4 women smelled this fragrance and couldn't help but swallow their saliva uncontrollably. I first served a bowl for myself and Shen Qingwu, then served another bowl and handed it to Ruan Yuan Yuan. While eating, Ruan Yuan Yuan glanced at the others with smug little eyes. Wen Ning had been hungry for so many days, relying entirely on willpower to hold out until now, so her reaction after smelling the fragrance was also the most exaggerated. Her saliva was almost flowing like a river, but she still braced herself to thank me. "Thank you for saving me." Suddenly, the system panel appeared before my eyes. Target: name Wen Ning. Identity: school doctor. Favorability: 50. Hand-holding reward: medical kit, medical skill manual. First kiss reward: zombie virus vaccine. Full conquest reward: infirmary and supporting medical equipment. Seeing this, I curled my lips in satisfaction. It seems that ignoring her before was correct. This favorability has jumped straight to 50. I asked Wen Ning, "Want to eat?" "Yes, very much." "Work for me. I can give you the same treatment as her. 1 bowl of meat and 1 bowl of vegetables a day." Yuan, who was eating happily on the side, heard this and suddenly felt the meat in her bowl wasn't fragrant anymore. Wen Ning, on the other hand, agreed without hesitation. "No problem." Immediately I served her a bowl, and she started wolfing it down immediately. It seemed she really was starving. I then turned my gaze to the remaining 2. Target: name Lu He. Identity: art student, pianist. Favorability: 0. Hand-holding reward: piano skills. First kiss reward: complete piano sheet music. Full conquest reward: piano artistic talent. Target: name Jiang Weiwei. Identity: gold digger, student. Favorability: 10. Hand-holding reward: 1 car. First kiss reward: 100 square meter house. Full conquest reward: 1,000 square meter house. After inquiring with the system in my mind, I learned that the rewarded car could be any model specified, as small as a Geely or Ferrari, as large as an off-road heavy truck, and even a tank could be obtained. Additionally, this 100 square meter house was also quite attractive, as it could directly double my safe house. It seems this girl Jiang Weiwei really has some utility value. As for Lu He's rewards, they were a bit lacking. Jiang Weiwei keenly noticed the change in my gaze. She tossed her hair and spoke delicately. "Excuse me, can I also work for you?" Yuan, listening on the side, immediately got a skin full of goosebumps, feeling extremely disgusted in her heart. But she didn't think Jiang Weiwei's act of seduction would work, since in her impression, I only took in people useful to myself. Unexpectedly, I actually nodded and agreed. Sure, the pay is the same as the 2 of them. Hearing this, Yuan's eyes widened instantly. What could this Jiang Weiwei do? Why could she enjoy the same treatment as herself? At this time, Jiang Weiwei took the bowl, one-handed over, her finger seemingly accidentally brushing past my hand. I saw her hesitation. "You can also choose to stay here." "Of course I choose to follow you." Jiang Weiwei was a smart person, knowing that staying here would surely result in a miserable end, so she might as well take a gamble following me. Our movement soon attracted a group of onlookers who immediately began whispering. "Where are these people going? They aren't thinking of going out, are they? It's better if they leave? I've been annoyed with them for a long time." Lu, he was also in the crowd, listening to the classmates' discussions, his brow furrowed. Although I had rejected him yesterday and said such harsh words, he still couldn't bring himself to watch us go to our deaths. So he rushed out of the crowd and blocked my path. "Where are you going?" "Leaving here. Anyway, you guys don't welcome us, right?" This counter-question directly stunned Lu He. He just wanted to say something when a voice came from behind him. "That's right, we indeed don't welcome you. However, others can leave. Teacher Wen, you are the school doctor. Stay and be with us. We really need you." This kid Jiyu Chengyu clearly knew the importance of a doctor, obviously wanting to use the students to morally hijack Wen Ning. I was instantly furious. "Damn, you're trying to poach people from me." But before I could speak, Wen Ning took a step forward. "There's not even medicine here. It's useless for me to stay. Let's go." "You are a teacher. Even if you do nothing, everyone will feel much more at ease with you here." Jiyu Chengyu wanted to struggle a bit more, but Wen Ning wasn't swayed at all, determined to go with me. Seeing he couldn't persuade Wen Ning, Jiyu Chengyu didn't bother to keep the others anymore. In his eyes, besides Wen Ning being useful, Yuan and Jiang Weiwei were simply 2 burdens. "Enough talk, let's go." I couldn't be bothered to argue with him further and turned to leave. The girls behind me also followed immediately. Since the apocalypse broke out, this was the first time Jiang Weiwei left the teaching building. She was looking around nervously, already prepared to run away at any time. However, what made her slightly relieved was that there were no living zombies. Only zombies, corpses scattered everywhere. Reaching the open ground behind the school, I stopped. Seeing this, Jiang Weiwei immediately panicked. "Why aren't we moving? Let's go quickly while there are no zombies." "We've arrived." Arrived at what? How can people live in this wilderness? This guy must be crazy. If I'd known, I wouldn't have come out with him. I didn't care what Jiang Weiwei was thinking. My mind was entirely on the system. System. Extract the real estate reward. Design blueprint detected. Build according to the blueprint. Yes. As soon as I clicked, a steel fortress rose out of thin air on the originally empty ground. This scene left everyone shocked and speechless. Ruan Yuan Yuan was the first to recognize it. The structure of this building was exactly the same as the blueprint she had drawn. She looked at me in shock and was about to say something, but was directly interrupted by me. "Don't ask so much. You only need to know that I can lead you to survive." Jiang Weiwei instantly swept away her previous gloom. Her inner joy so great she wanted to offer herself on the spot. I walked straight toward the safe house. The door was titanium alloy, equipped with an electronic fingerprint lock on the side. After I recorded my own fingerprint, I conveniently recorded one for Shen Qingwu as well. As for Wen Ning and Ruan Yuan Yuan, wait until favorability reaches 60. And that Jiang Weiwei is too scheming with too many little thoughts. Don't even think about titanium alloy without 80 favorability. The large door slowly opened, and I led everyone inside. Because the area wasn't large, the safe house only had one living room, 3 rooms, 1 bathroom, and 1 warehouse. However, the system was quite generous, not only providing a full set of furniture, but even equipping a diesel generator. Unfortunately, only 1 barrel of diesel was given. As soon as the women entered, they looked around curiously, letting out exclamations from time to time. Heavens, there's actually a bathtub and hot water in the bathroom. Such a large warehouse, and it has a cold storage function. Fantastic. My God, there are beds in the bedrooms, and even a sofa in the living room. Hearing their exclamations, I felt incredibly good in my heart. And this was only the beginning. As long as I continue brushing favorability tasks, my safe house will become larger and larger, with more and more functions. At this time, Jiang Weiwei actively suggested, let's divide the rooms. The boss gets one for himself, Ruan Yuan Yuan, and I get one. And Teacher Wen and Shen Qingwu get one. As soon as she finished speaking, Ruan Yuan immediately jumped out to object. I don't want to share a room with you. I want to be with Teacher Wen. Qingwu didn't speak, just silently pulled on the corner of my clothes. All right then, the boss and his sister share a room, and Ruan Yuan Yuan and Teacher Wen share one. But Ruan Yuan Yuan still didn't agree. Why do you get a room to yourself? You've seen the situation with the boss and his sister, and since you won't stay with me, I naturally have to live alone. I have a good idea. Why don't you just sleep in the living room by yourself? Ruan Yuan Yuan, do you have to be at odds with me? Seeing the two of them about to argue, I directly raised my volume. Stop arguing. Divide it, as Jiang Weiwei said. As soon as I spoke, the two immediately wilted. Ruan Yuan Yuan angrily pulled Wen Ning back to their room. Jiang Weiwei also closed her door, not knowing what she was doing inside. I originally wanted to walk around the safe house more, but Shen Qingwu wouldn't let go of me. She pointed at the remaining room and uttered 2 words in a childish voice. Sleep. Actually, I wanted to refuse, but there was no way. Shen Qingwu's big eyes were too powerful. Also, my nerves had been tightly strung these days, and I really should rest properly. Just after I lay down on the bed, Shen Qingwu pressed over, burrowing into my arms like a little cat. I had to turn over and hug her, and fell asleep before long. Shen Qingwu, being a zombie, felt no sleepiness. She just buried her small face in my chest, quietly feeling my heartbeat. Meanwhile, back at the teaching building, students discovered the building that appeared out of thin air and immediately ran to report to Jiyu Chengyu. After hearing it, Jiyu Chengyu looked puzzled. He had no impression of that strange house behind the school. But coincidentally, in his memory, that house seemed to have always been there, although they didn't see the safe house appear from nothing with their own eyes. Under the system's influence, their subconscious felt it was perfectly normal for the house to be there. Jiyu Chenyu stared at the student who came to report. "You saw with your own eyes that outsider bring people into that house?" "That's right, I saw it with my own eyes." "Young Master Jiyu, that house looks quite sturdy. Why don't we go and snatch it over?" "Are you stupid? Speaking of safety, isn't our building enough?" Choosing not to live in such a large place and instead going to a few small broken rooms. Has your brain been waterlogged, or has mine? When I woke up, it was already 5 p.m. In my daze, I felt a small hand acting up beneath me. I was startled and instantly woke up, grabbing that misbehaving hand. "What are you doing?" Shen Qingwu blinked her innocent big eyes and didn't speak. I pinched her small, round face. "Don't play dumb with me. I know you understand. Hungry." I finally realized that this little fellow was hungry and didn't want to wake me up, so she intended to do it herself. Unfortunately, she didn't know the trick and couldn't get anything out after fumbling for a long time. All right, I'll get up now and make food for you." Walking to the living room, I found the other three were all there. As soon as Ruan Yuan saw me come out, she clamored, "Boss, come quickly and look at the monitor." The monitoring screen was showing the scene outside. Some scattered white dots were falling from the sky but soon disappeared. Ruan Yuan asked with curiosity, "Is that Willow Catkin?" "No, it's snowing." Wen Ning, being from the north, recognized what it was at a glance, but the other two locals didn't believe it at all. "Are you kidding? This is Binhai City. I've never seen snow in all my years of growing up. Only I knew in my heart what was behind this strange phenomenon. The fourth wave of natural disasters in the apocalypse had finally come. According to the memories of my past life, this snow would fall for a full 3 days and the temperature would drop all the way. By the third day, taking a leak could instantly freeze into an icicle. No, I absolutely cannot sit and wait for death during these 3 days. I must take advantage of the snow just starting to quickly get more supplies." Ruan Yuan. "What do they sell in your school supermarket?" Ruan Yuan was stunned for a moment, but seeing my serious face, she immediately gave a serious introduction. It turned out that the shopping area of Binhai University, though called a supermarket, was actually no different from a small mall. There was everything one could need, basically allowing students to buy all they wanted without leaving the campus. So this trip to the supermarket is a must. But not now. We have to wait a bit longer. After lunch the next day, I directly gave orders to Jiang Weiwei and Wen Ning. "You two get ready, come out with me and Qingwu." Hearing this, Jiang Weiwei's face instantly fell. If she could, she would only stay in the safe house for her entire life, so she started acting coquettishly toward me. "Boss, can I not go out?" I looked at her expressionlessly. "Sure, but my place doesn't support idle people." "I'll go, all right. Is there a need to be so scary? Can't I even ask?" I added one more thing. "Remember to wear more layers, it's very cold outside." Seeing she was ignored, Ruan Yuan was anxious. "What about me? Your task is to draw plans." "Don't worry, I won't just drive you away." Hearing my words, Ruan Yuan finally breathed a sigh of relief. She really thought she'd become one of those idle people I mentioned. As soon as we stepped out of the safe house, the snow on the ground already reached our ankles, and large snowflakes were falling from the sky. The most critical thing was the bitter cold outside. The perceived temperature was probably already below zero. Even though Jiang Weiwei and Wen Ning wore several extra layers of clothing, they were still shivering from the cold, their voices trembling as they spoke. "It's so cold, boss, how about we go back? It'll be fine once we get in the car." Jiang Weiwei looked toward where I was pointing with doubt, only to discover a big fellow. A heavy-duty truck was parked next to the safe house. Jiang Weiwei's mouth opened wide enough to fit an egg. "Heavens, where did this car come from?" I chuckled. "Where from? Naturally, it's the reward you contributed. Actually, I had also struggled before over whether to choose an off-road vehicle or an armored car, but considering the current situation, I felt that getting a heavy truck was the most reliable choice. What if another mutation occurs later? Turning directly into Optimus Prime might not be impossible.